Nice. Hi, everybody. Welcome on in. Today, we are going to go into episode 1 of Ruins of the Mad Mage. I'm joined here with 𝐑𝐴𝐺𝐬 as well as Swag Dracula. The nameplates are not changing for you, so it only says Worrell. I'll figure that out here in a bit. But we got Swag Dracula as well as 𝐑𝐵𝐺𝐬. Unmade Gaming is not with us today. He is doing a 12-hour charity stream. You can check him out. I think he's live now for St. Jude, so you can go check him out as well. Unfortunately, we do not have Cherry this week. We will have her next week. But to start the game today, I want to go over a couple of things with the channel and how the show is going to be working from, I guess, here on out. I think the music's still a bit loud. Hold on. From here on out, so we have, you can do ! play along. And you guys, take a look at my frame here for a sec. We do have several things you can do to, I guess you could either buff or nerf the players or give them an advantage or disadvantage, really in anything. By using by resubbing or using anything there on the play along command, you guys could invoke natural 20s. You could see how many we have with a maximum of 3 per player. And that's going to be going on right on the top left of my frame here. But everybody has their own as well. And don't forget that we do also have benefits for advantage and disadvantage. So these gems over here, if I turn that one on right there, that is going to show that I have advantage. Me as the dungeon master will have advantage or inspiration. And then if it's red, this other one right there, that one's going to be disadvantage. So you guys can always really keep... yeah, it's kind of hard to see which is which. But you can always see where the status is for each player as we have the games running here. And as you guys can play along and see what we are up to. I'm trying to think if there's anything else housekeeping-wise that I should go over. I got to see if Housekeeping. If Swag has anybody seen Swag's name change? There it goes. Okay, so it is changing. All right, just on 2 different levels. No one pay attention to that.
Worrell Cathars.
Worrell. Yes. I'm very excited for today. Let's go around. Let's talk about us for a bit and a bit about our characters and how our week was. We have two cast members today out of the 4, so it's going to be a little bit on the shorter side than I was expecting, but we're still going to go through it and still going to go through the story and see what's going to be happening and get our feet wet with some roleplay today. So let's start off with Worrell Cathars, Swag Dracula. How are you? How was your week, buddy?
Hey, doing fantastic. How's everyone doing? Hope you're doing great.
Doing well.
Finally got over my illness. I think I'm in remission, as they say. I'm Swag Dracula, #1 Transylvanian Twitch streamer. I'm here to play some wonderful D&D. We actually raised $4,000 yesterday.
That's amazing.
For the American Cancer Society.
That's
so
amazing.
Week's been pretty damn good.
Yeah, that's an amazing week. Holy crap. 4,000?
Yeah, 4,000.
Wow.
Yeah, so I won't be eating for a month.
Yeah, right. Right.
And should I talk about my wonderful character?
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
All right, so Worrell Cathars
Mm-hmm.
is who I'll be playing as for this session. And probably every session. He's such a great character.
Unless I kill him.
He is a Minotaur paladin who, after listening to the call of his god,
Oh, right.
He can't pronounce it.
Yeah, which is great. I love that.
Yeah. He forsook his ability of direction that all Minotaurs have, took to the sea, and started following a broken compass given to him by his god, and is now at the behest of its will. He was a sailor. He is excellent on the water.
Excellent.
If he's on the water, he knows exactly where he's going. He knows, he can rig a boat. He can do all this. What he can't do is actually sail properly.
Right.
It's unfortunate. So his first boat did crash. It sunk. All his belongings went to the bottom of the sea. He also can't swim, which is a bit of an issue. So he ripped apart his boat and is now using that as his armor. His shield is the figurehead attached to the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
His weapon is the anchor, which he swings like a flail.
It's so cool. So you've got like this driftwood armor, like a driftwood clad minotaur, who's following some sort of divine path, which he may not know what it is yet, though he may not know, of course, which path goes where because of his lack of direction, but both, I guess, literal and figurative, and also spiritual. So we have this really cool looking. What color is the coat of your of the fur of your minotaur?
Yes. It is like a cow.
Okay.
Like a spotted
so
cow.
Spotted, like okay, it's like a spotted cow, and then you have like this wood armor on top. You know, a flail that's made of an old, like a little, because it's off of like a schooner. So you have like this littler of the like a smaller anchor, which you've fashioned you've cut and then put a rod.
It wasn't a big boat.
It wasn't a huge boat.
You know, Pirates of the Caribbean when he comes sailing in at the very first scene.
Yeah,
it was like that.
Yeah, like a little schooner, a little sloop.
Little tiny thing.
Cool. Yeah. So you've got this this figurehead that was what is the figurehead of? What that is now your shield, which you've had fashioned into a shield. What is that? What is that of? Is it of a lady? Is it of a mermaid?
That was my lady for what the ship was named.
Okay. Cool.
The ship was actually named Madam Butterworth.
Madam Butterworth.
Madam Butterworth was the name of the ship.
Great.
No relation.
No relation. It can't be.
No relation. And it is actually a very buxom, like cow mermaid lady. It's a long, flowing red hair, but also a cow. Not a minotaur. Need to be very specific about that.
Okay, awesome. One sec. Cool. So that's 𝐷𝐸𝐿. You've got the figurehead shield and an anchor mace, or an anchor flail, excuse me, and like this wooden clad armor. And now we also have we went through character creation last week, or character concept session 0, and we've also come up with Miggity Man's character. Miggity Man, you want to tell us a little bit more about you? How was your week? And also tell us a little bit more about your character.
Well, I'm Miggity Man. My week was good. Primarily GTA RP, role play streamer on Family RP. So had a few good days. Only had to shoot 2 people, I think. So,
nice.
No, 1 person. Yeah. So it was a good week. But yeah, it was good. So I guess going into my character, Wilgity Man Mega Swoon. He's a bard class, half elf. He went to this College of Glamour. Whenever let's see, I'm just basically reading. Yeah. So whenever he comes to a new place, he likes to collect rumors and spread gossip. He likes seeing people smile when he performs. Well, okay, so I guess getting back to more background, he was a dancer. He was stolen as a child from the goblins and taken into the Underdark. He grew up and was raised by the goblins, but he's unfamiliar. He doesn't know that he's not a goblin, even though he's a half elf. So his abilities to reach things on higher shelves, he had a natural advantage over his goblin brothers. So let's see. His favorite job was to distract travelers and adventurers so that his goblin family would be able to sneak past to sneak a purse or 2, right? But he was originally, when he grew up, he became a dancer. He met, let's see, 𝐸𝐸, a dark elf dancer, and she took him under his wing and showed him the ins and outs of the city. And he would only dream of a 2-person routine for them to master, and she was more interested in something more, but Wilgety Man was his love was the dance. He was married to the dance. So, unfortunately, he cannot reciprocate the same feelings that she had, and it ended in jealousy and heartbreak. So, Suspain made basically a dark pact to ruin Wilgety Man's career. So she cast a spell on him, giving him 2 left feet. He's embarrassed, and he tries not to let it be seen that he has 2 left feet. So he'll even wear the correct shoes, and he walks a little bit crippled because of that.
Yep. He's got a. As a, I also we said that he's pretty clumsy. So what I did actually in the character sheet is I think I changed it to intellect or no wisdom. You were proficient. These are words that you don't know, but chat probably does. You were proficient in dexterity, but I switched it to wisdom instead. So you've got charisma that you're proficiency in, and same with your wisdoms, your street smarts, because you were raised by goblins, but also have now that curse. So I kind of, where you don't have the dexterity for being able to dance like you used to, you now have the wisdom to, I guess, overcome situations. We'll see. So awesome. So now we have. We're now in Skullport. For those of you who do not know, Skullport is the dark port rumored nearby Waterdeep. Waterdeep is in the Forgotten Realms lore, and right on the coastline of Faerun, the Faerunian continent. Skullport, there is access to this dark port, this dark criminal. This criminal underground, the city, but it's known to very few. There are some sea causeways that go through different caverns that lead into Skullport. Skullport was known for its access into Undermountain, and the dwarves built a fort there to try to keep hold of it years ago. The dwarves were overrun by thieves and pirates, and then over time, the Xanathar Guild, the Thieves Guild, is now a corporate structure within Skullport, and they are the law. The Xanathar now rule that fort and rule all of Skullport as well. So it's not uncommon to hear or to see Xanathar in Skullport. In that time, you have come, Miggity Man, or Wilgety in this case, has come to own a dance studio. You escaped during your curse, and then you've come back because you simply just love the dance. So you came back to teach what it is that you love. And in that, we have where I guess we would start. So I guess before we get started, I know... we had Ewok, you resub. Thank you so much, buddy. Give Miggity a crit to use. Okay, will do. Miggity, congratulations. You have a critical success that you can use anytime you want. If the overlay works. Hold on.
You know what? If it doesn't, you can just give it to me.
Right, yeah, just give it to you. I spent all week programming buttons to work, and they aren't. Cool, great. All right, so we'll get that to work at some point. Do mine work? No, mine don't work. Okay, great, perfect, great. Well, anyway, we'll get that done. We have advantage for Swag Dracula. We also have a critical success. Right, it was a critical success, he said. Yep, crit to use. Nice, so we'll give that one to Miggity. We'll give that advantage to Swag Dracula. Why are my buttons not working? It's been so long. So let me see if I can get these fixed.
Boogity, can we just talk about how you're a amalgam of cult classic 80s movies?
Yes.
Yes, please. Please talk about that for a sec while I figure this out.
My left foot, Footloose, I believe as well.
Labyrinth.
Labyrinth.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say Grease.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
feel
why
like
not?
I'm getting a Danny Zuko vibe from.
Mhm.
All right. Ace. We also have Snake coming in. Give me 5 disadvantages to spread out, he says. 2 to Miggity, 3 to Drac. Mix things up early in the game. 5. All right, so you want 2. Who's this one? Where's this button going? Is this button broken? Of course. All right, so we got 1, 2 to Miggity, and 3 to Swag Dracula. Nice. Okay, so I figured out my issue, and everything's good. All right, so you guys have disadvantage as well as advantage. You want disadvantage. Okay, so unfortunately, disadvantage we can't. I can't chart up like that, but I can go ahead and I can give you advantage for now. Everybody, give me a sec. We're still figuring this out. It's the first time I'm using these buttons. And I don't know where, I think that should be fixed. Okay, cool. So, let me fix it one more time. Is it still broken? Yeah, perfect. Good. We're up to a good start. Do it live. And
We didn't really talk about this, but
perfect.
Wilgety Man also is running it's not a halfway house, it's a dance studio for reformed convicts.
Yeah.
My 2 left feet.
My 2 left feet, which behind it you can see like the faded out what it used to be before you got a second left foot.
Which was, I don't know if we named it or not.
I don't think we did.
It was Underground Groovolution.
Underground.
Yeah, that's what it was called previous, and you rebranded. It was probably a dance studio that you were erecting and building with Susbane, your partner, and then in everything you decided to rebrand. You decided to use it for good. So all right, so let's go ahead and let's get started. So. Thank you so much, Snake Lord, for coming in with that, the 500 bits, as well as Ace. Thank you for the sub Ewok, as well as Squishy. Thank you so much, guys. All right, so Meta Hatter coming in with 500. What would you like to do, Meta Hatter? Check out the play along, and let's see what you got. You want to give somebody a crit, fail, crit, hit? You let me know. All right, so. Let me fix one thing, and then we should be good. I'm sorry, guys. I'm professional. I promise.
I'm still fleshing out my character.
Good. You got some time.
I like the idea that one of my black splotches on my beautiful fur is shaped like Texas. I know Texas doesn't exist in the Forgotten Realms universe.
Oh no, I like it.
But it exists in my heart.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
He looks at it longingly, and he's like, "I feel like I know you."
I feel like you, and I speak on a more emotional level. All right, so the game starts. Ruins of the Mad Mage. And we open up on a scene with it looks like a muscled figure with a hood down, a bald, green skin orc, pointy ears. One looks like it may have scarred or chunks ripped from it, maybe due to some sort of battle long ago. He seems to be hunched over on a rooftop, holding a small orb or a stone of some sort. It's glowing. And he mentions in the he mentions and speaks into the stone. He says,
I'm afraid I can't quite make it tonight. I have plans. I can't do what you needed me to. There's plenty of others though. You could call on others, right?
And you hear this murmuring, this mimicry, or inside like a coming from the sending stone or this glowing rock. Excuse me. Almost as if he's having a conversation with it. And he says,
I know, but it's just this is something I've had planned for a long time. and I can't make it. Not tonight. Tomorrow?
And then you hear again. And then, so,
But I'm not. All right, then fine. I'll try what I can. I'll see if I could squeeze it in. All right, I gotta go.
in a hurried leap, he jumps off of the gutters from where he stood, and into the ever wet ground of the rise and the rise of the high tide and the depletion of the low tide. You see, as it kind of just washes lower Skullport, where you reside, with a salty grime. As he splashes down on the cobblestones that were once etched by dwarves, he walks down in a hurried fashion towards a building. This building seems to be next to... It's in an abandoned area of town, probably one of the darker, seedier places of this quote-unquote town. A building still smolders from loans that went awry from the Xanathar Guild. Xanathar, a thieving company, a corporation that is not an uncommon word here, and it's very commonplace to see them. They are the ones who own and rule Skullport. If you have an issue, you would contact Xanathar, or they would come and get rid of the issue before you even know it. It's a very, very a productive system that they have going on. Not very safe, but if you scratch their back, they will scratch yours, and it's always how it has been in Skullport. So as this orc approaches this building, we see a swinging sign that says "My 2 left feet" as he hurries inside as fast as he can. He squeezes past the two in the front on the stoop of the dance studio, and he goes,
Oh, sorry, I'm late, Wilgity.
and he squeezes by you, and almost as if he is starting to change into, like, taking off his wet robe, his moth-eaten robe, and he starts to kind of hop towards as he's trying to put on, like, his harness or dance belt, as he is making his way towards the locker room, as it seems as if he had to cancel whatever his plans were tonight because he had more important plans here at the dance studio. In the front on the stoop, there are two characters. There is one goblin who is, there is a cart with a man inside, bound and gagged, and there is a goblin with his eyebrow raised, looking at you, Miggity Man, as he thanks you for the bounties that have been collected and thanks you for the gentleman in the cart.
Thank you very much, Wilgity. It's been wonderful as always.
And he produces from his cloak these 3 softball-sized gems that value about 3,000 gold pieces, 1,000 each. And he kind of just,
There you go. There you are.
and he kind of drops them into your hands, and he goes,
It's been wonderful. Thank you for meeting up and getting this done for me.
and he starts to make his way towards the cart with the body in it. The body, defeated, but not panicked, knows that its fate is in whoever's hands now. What would you like to do?
Well, number one, Warwick Heathers is in the back.
Sure.
He's been crunching the numbers.
Yep.
I'd like to think I got some spectacles on. I got a pad and paper in my hand. I walk out, and Warwick Heathers, Miggity, I've been running the numbers. We either got to get more clients or we got to start charging more because we're not going to be able to keep the doors open past winter, whatever Christmas is.
Dritzmas.
Grimace. Grimace. We're not. It's just not going to work. I don't see this. Did we get paid for the goblin?
We did. It was 3,000 gold. Or, 3
Yeah.
orbs.
Yeah, 3 gems of 3,000
3
gold pieces,
gems.
of worth. Yeah, whatever.
I
Yeah.
still got to work on that voice.
No, you're good.
But
You're good. These are the
gotta
best
pull-
part. These are the best times. Is where you're like, what is this character?
I gotta pull
As
up,
it, yeah, go nuts. So yeah, the goblin walks back. He kind of waves again and takes the cart and walks off. And yeah, he says, Wilgity says, he responds with, yeah, we just got paid.
What's the name of it's the Xanathar, right?
The Xanathar, yeah, is the corporation that runs Skullport. Mm-hmm.
We we're behind our debts on the Xanathar. I think we need to really buckle down. I believe in the dance studio as much as you do. All right, young orcs need a place to dance, but we gotta make some money. I think it's about time we start we start doing some heavier contracts.
Wilgety looks at him and says, well, what do you suggest?
Well, there must be some sort of bounty board or shady man in an alley.
Something somewhere.
There's something somewhere. Someone knows. I mean, the other day I was walking down the street. Chaos, ruin. There's always something going on. We got to find someone to talk to. I like to think that 𝐷𝐴𝐿 consults some sort of black book. I'm sure they have of previous clients to their dance studio to see if we can find some sort of money making scheme.
Sure.
To save the dance studio.
Sure, some sort of money making scheme. Well, what kind of money making scheme were you thinking?
Maybe someone needs to be beaten up in a dark alley. Maybe not beaten up. Maybe protection. Something that would align with our goal of don't do bad things, dance instead. But at the same time,
okay,
we owe a lot of money.
So that same orc that came in earlier seems to have made his way outside of the locker room, all dressed and ready for the class. And he notices you talking, Worrell, to Wilgety about some sort of something. How can we pay? How can we make more money? And he goes,
actually, the people I work for, we always have opportunities and jobs, if that's something you're interested in.
Worrell Cathers looks at Wilgety with like a shrug. What do you think?
Wilgety also shrugs and looks over at the orc, looks at his leotard, and looks up at him hesitantly, wondering what this orc could possibly have to offer, and asks him to go on.
Right. So,
and he kind of leans in close.
The organization that I work for is a bit of a kind of a, well, once you're in, you're in. And, kind of a, what's the word?
As he searches for the word, scratches his head.
Commitment, yeah. A bit of a commitment. Lifelong endeavor. But always work, always things to do. It's up to you, though. Should we start from the top today, or where are we? Which one are we doing? Are we doing Autumn's Nest, or are we doing the Sunrise and the Sword Coast Shuffle?
As he tries to change the subject, but he's really eager as he throws his leg up on the dance bar and starts stretching.
Worrell Cathers kind of, stands up a bit more upright. The only commitment I've made is to my god, orc. But, maybe after dance class, we can sit down and kind of hammer out the fine details, if that's all right with Wiggly Man Migaswoon.
All right. Well, let's have a dance, and then maybe we'll think about it, and maybe.
All right, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, no one.
I imagine Worrell Cathers sliding over to the piano and being the accompanist, bring ting ting,
Just a ragtime.
Right. It's just like there's a bunch of these like criminals and outlaws down in Skullport start to shuffle their way in, but as they take more and more steps inside, the more they have the happier they are visually becoming as they one by one exit the locker room and make their way to the dance floor. And in front of the grime layers and the grime covered mirrors, or what used to pass as mirrors, as they're just pieces of glass with black tar on the back of them, hoping to be some sort of reflection as the music starts, and 𝐷𝐿𝐷𝐸 is left either teaching or still thinking about this offer. 𝐷𝐿𝐷𝐸, man, what are you
𝐷𝐿𝐷𝐸 is intrigued by the offer. Backing up, what I missed it. The 3 orbs for the body. What was that about again?
So, as I kind of figured, you guys have been doing some work like on the side, as well as, of course, owning a dance studio. But you guys are adventurers, so moonlighting as bounty hunters. So whatever that is, whatever that bounty was, it can be completely up to you. The only thing is, you were paid 3,000, and for someone alive, and that's what you did. You delivered someone alive, whatever it may have been, or whoever it was, but you delivered it, and this goblin paid you the 3,000.
Okay, all right. I missed it. For some reason, I thought he brought the body in and then gave us.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. It was a sorry, it was a bounty pickup, pretty much a bounty transaction.
I like
Gotcha.
to think, I like to think it was like a cheating husband type thing.
Yeah, it could be. It could be.
I
Yeah.
think Alpha was like, I think he's cheating. I can't prove it.
I really need you to bring him in so I could.
We just caught him in the act. We tied him up in the bed sheets.
The goblin has no idea who he is. He's like a middleman.
I think there's one person that I think is probably going on. Like I just bring him in. All right, I'll give you 3,000.
Yeah. So
And
Yeah.
𝐷𝐿𝐷𝐸's he's like it. I'd like to think that something like that would be boring to him. He's kind of nonchalant about turning him over. Just a silly girl with her jealousy, and going after something like that would not interest him. The money interests him, but he would like something more adventurous. So he's in the corner contemplating the offer and kind of thinking more about what that orc could have been talking about, and hoping that it would be more, something more adventurous. So as he's stretching on the bar, 𝐷𝐿𝐷𝐸 has his index finger placed on his lip, and he's just thinking, and he's almost distracted to the point where, even though he loves the dance, he's more intrigued now about the adventure, whereas 𝐷𝐿𝐷𝐸 is would you say 𝐷𝐿𝐷𝐸 is more about keeping the business afloat, or what is his?
He's been brought to the dance studio by his god, so I think right now he thinks his god wants him to keep the dance studio afloat. He's not really sure.
Okay.
But yeah, he's out in the back crunching the numbers.
awesome.
So 𝐷𝐿𝐷𝐸 is contemplating the adventure that could be, and he wants to persuade 𝐷𝐿𝐷𝐸 to hear out the goblin to find out more about what they could do. 𝐷𝐿𝐷𝐸's almost distracted to the point where he wants to cancel the class to talk more with the orc.
Okay. That's completely up to you. Everybody's warming up right now.
And 𝐷𝐿𝐷𝐸 doesn't want to cancel the class. He's like, no, we have to go on. We have to.
We got newsies in 2 weeks.
We've got our
We
own
sold
version.
tickets.
That's right. We got the copyright and everything. It costs so much money.
Yeah. We got new season.
We're gonna stay afloat. We gotta perform newsies. I don't see a way out of it.
They're gonna love it here in Skullport.
Okay.
Would the orc have seen the bounty at all, or was he in the back?
The orc did squeeze by you guys. In the narrative, he kind of was like, "Oh, excuse me," as he had to like make his way through you guys through the conversation you were having with that goblin. As that goblin was like, he kind of like winced away from the orc as the orc came by, and then he dropped the 3 giant gems into your hands. 1 ruby, 1 topaz, and 1 sapphire. As he gives all 3 of these to you as payment, and then he went on his way. And then the orc came in and sorry, and then ran into the sorry I'm late, and then ran into the locker room to change. So the orc knows, but he didn't really care. I mean, much as anybody else here in Skullport, everybody is always kind of has this code of looking the other way.
Okay. So Wilgety and Worrell are in the corner talking about the potential opportunity. Worrell is saying we need to start up the class. Everybody is in the dance studio, kind of just they're all warmed up and ready to go, looking at the 2.
They're waiting.
Yeah.
Took time out of their busy day. You're all they got, Wilgety. You're the only one they believe in. Whoa.
Okay, so over here, for those of you, I did get this map made up. Ratrosphere, my twin, went ahead and made this. So this is pretty much our best representation of Skullport. Over here is our, of course, on the overlay. This is what I'm talking about. For those of you who can't see, we have the fort. Looks like Minas Tirith. Don't worry about it. The fort that has been taken over by the Xanathar. Over here is all of the low Skullport. It sits in like several inches of water. Everything is on bits of stilts. But back here, this is where my left feet dance studio is, just tucked in the way, right back here of this gross ass dock town.
Nice.
All right, so yeah, I don't remember where we were. I got distracted, so I want to show that off. But yeah, so the orc is still in there, and he's warming up. And you were what was that you said? I think I got distracted. My bad.
Worrell and Wilgety are in the corner discussing, the potential job opportunity, and Wilgety has a sense of wants an adventure. As much as he loves the dance, he wants to be able to relive some of his old ways and go out and do a dance, or use his talents in order to have an adventure where he's not growing tired of the dance studio, because he still loves that, but he sees an opportunity that's more interesting than finding a cheating spouse.
Right.
So, and then Worrell's
Something
like,
more.
yeah, and then Worrell's talking about, well, we have to make the money, and then Wilgety is, well, this could potentially be more, and then so Wilgety starts walking towards the class, and naturally, because he has 2 left feet, he already has a limp. So he exaggerates one of his limps and kind of tumbles to the floor, and he says, "Oh, my ankle. Oh God, yeah." And then Worrell comes over, not knowing what had happened, because this all happened into Wilgety's mind, and because he didn't want to argue anymore with Worrell about continuing the class, so he's on the floor and he's holding his ankle, and people kind of the others kind of walk over, and he's like, Wilgety's like, "Oh, I will be fine. Everything will be fine." And somebody spoke out, but well, I guess this means we're not dancing today. And then,
yeah. So in this case, I'm gonna stop you right here. So now you are gonna go ahead and lie. You're gonna bluff.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So now head over to your character sheet. We're gonna do this is gonna be a skill check. And you are going to be doing a persuasion. So it'll be right next to your stats on the side, your strength, dexterity, blah, blah, blah. There will be a bunch of skills, acrobats, animal handling towards the towards like right next to intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. That'll be your skills.
Okay.
Go ahead and click on persuasion for me. Just click on the oh, you have a bunch of skills that I didn't put down. So hold on, let me put those in for you. Persuasion works. Let's do stealth, sleight of hand, because you worked for the goblins.
Well, this is happening.
One more.
Or was kind of gathering everybody. It's all right.
And athletics. Okay.
We can still make nationals, everyone.
Yeah, we still got this.
All right, so go ahead and click on the persuasion.
I did.
The button. You checked it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Click on the text. There you go.
Okay.
All right, so you have advantage, but you don't need to use it right now because you rolled a 19 or a 20. If you had advantage, we would take the highest. If you had disadvantage, we would take the lowest. If you didn't have any of them, we would just take the first roll. So being a 19, which is amazing, of course, being 20 being the highest, you, with ease, fool the whole class. The fact that you've exaggerated your limp. Maybe it was the fact that you've already have the 2 left feet. You're already, quote-unquote, wounded. It was easy for you to just pick up a fake limp. But yeah, you fall to the ground and you wail as you try to tell everybody about your hurt leg. And yes, many of the students or the ex-convicts go,
All right. Well, I get it. Right. Well, I'll see you tomorrow. Guess we're not dancing. All right.
and then they sort of make their way, sort of
Perhaps.
like in a confusion and is this really happening? We're missing dance class right now, as they sort of make their way towards the locker room.
Perhaps to a fault, his lie goes so well. Even Worrell is worried about him. So I'd like
Yeah.
to cast a Cure Wounds.
Okay.
Yeah, that was like that was my point too, because Whirl and Wilgety are kind of not arguing, but just kind of going back and forth, where Whirl wants to continue the class because of finals, and Wilgety wants to see more about what the orc has to offer. So he so nobody, unbeknownst to anybody, Wilgety falls to the ground, and then Whirl comes over, worried. But as the orc who had initially spoken to both Wilgety and Whirl walks by, Wilgety pulls on his leotard
Yeah.
and gets him to stay with the two as everybody else goes back to the locker room, and
Right.
then basically starts talking to him more about what he had to
Sure.
had to offer,
Okay.
like what he knows or who he knows, or
Yeah.
he could be like, oh, my ankle now, I don't know how this is going to be, but let's we need to keep the dance studio open, and without people being here, we might not be able to afford the place. So
Yeah.
what do you have to offer?
Right.
Does that make
So,
sense?
yeah. Oh, I get it. You need a way to make money. I get it.
Mhm.
All right. Well,
This has
my-
happened before, and I don't know how long it'll.
the flare-ups or things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've got a buddy who lost his leg due to a vicious plant. We were traveling to caverns, and he lost his leg due to a giant carnivorous plant. And he's just, every once in a while, he has this pain in his non-existent leg. It's awful. No, I get it.
As he tries to commiserate or try to at least empathize for your war wound of sorts.
Yeah, so, what can you do besides dance? I mean, not that anything wrong with that. I love the dance as well, but it's more about what can you do that we could pay you for?
As he kind of like looks around, very uneasy and shadily looks around in his leotard.
as, much as you can in a leotard.
Yeah.
What can you do besides dance? I mean, not that anything wrong with that. I love the dance as well, but it's more about what can you do that we could pay you for?
As he kind of like looks around, very uneasy and shadily looks around in his leotard.
As much as you can in a leotard. I'm going to work on the voice, so I'm just going to talk normal.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Wilgity looks at him and says, well, having been raised by the goblins, I have a fast sleight of hand.
Yeah.
I can subdue enemies with, well, I guess that wouldn't work now since he's kind of crippled. So under normal circumstances, Wilgity's dance is mesmerizing enough to cripple or halt enemies in their track, allowing companions or companions to be able to take advantage of them in any way that we need to in order to succeed at our goal or mission.
Right. Okay, so you could lift some coin off of someone, is what you're saying.
We could do that.
Okay.
But that's probably goes along with maybe he wants more of an adventure than just stealing.
Right.
So any type of bounty for somebody who is not a cheating spouse, but somebody who is, more of a threat to the town or whatever.
I get what you're saying. The more jobs you do, the more recognition you learn amongst by people, and the more you get recognized, the more pay, more that'll be in your pocket. It's more of you give to the organization, we'll give back to you. You know.
And with that, you hear a knock on the door. A pretty heavy knock as the wooden door creaks open.
Is it me?
No, there is actually another Minotaur. This one is missing its horns. He's wearing some sort of... he's got a leather coat on over what looks like to be a ripped and missing chunks of a chainmail shirt. Over his shoulder, he wields a very large great axe, as not an appropriate thing to just have at the door. But good news, this is a familiar face. Miggity Man, this is the man who collects rent every month as he comes in.
You got the money, huh?
Worrell at this point
Yeah.
comes on in. He sees him. Am I familiar with this guy's name?
Yeah, you've seen him before. His name is Brooke.
Brooke! Hey, buddy, old pal.
Yeah, Marlon.
Listen,
How are you? How are things?
listen, we got the money. We barely escaped it together.
It's 3,000.
Minotaur to Minotaur.
He
We
kind of
both
nods
seen our
towards the
fair
orc.
share.
The orc nods back and sort of like they know each other kind of way.
Oh, okay. Listen, we both seen our fair share of mazes.
Yeah.
All right, we've both drinking of mother's milk. Do a boy. Do your boy a solid. Maybe we can work something out.
You want me
Is there
Huh?
Is there how much do we owe you?
As it is every month, 3,000.
Naturally.
We got the money, but perhaps there's some deal we could work out to maybe lessen our payments per month. Dancing ain't what it used to be. All these kids these days are into loot playing.
Yeah, well, you may have remembered when you offered this business investment, and when I sold you signed for the studio, that I wasn't fond of the idea of a dance studio, but you were able to pay, and you promised that we'd get that done, and now I'm here to collect. And if we can't make a deal, I'm sure my friends can.
And he kind of kicks open the door, and there's a bunch of hooded figures with various weapons, longsword, flail, as well as pitchforks. And they all look to be a very familiar grouping of people who you would see at any sort of Xanathar debt collection. A very public and known thing in Skullport.
Warl Cathers is not okay with this intrusion on what is his temple at the moment.
Right.
This is where I worship. So he stands up straight with a good snarl, and he looks at Brooke, and he says, "You come into my dance studio. You bring weapons, and
You can't help but laugh.
you ruin the peace. I'm not having it." And I'd like to roll an intimidation check.
Okay. So you can go ahead and roll an initiative, an intimidation. But hold on, you have these count as disadvantage. So go ahead and roll it with disadvantage.
Shit.
I'll
I just
get rid of one of these ones. Yep, you just click it.
Ooh. That ain't bad.
What do we roll? We rolled a 16. Okay, that ain't bad. So with intimidation, it goes.
I understand your frustration, but when we signed for 3,000, and you were good every month. Is that not the case this time?
Listen,
As
we
he kind of
signed for 3,000.
backs out. He kind of makes his way towards the door, but he still very confident. But he knows he may be in your territory, and he doesn't want to stir up any sort of trouble, or he doesn't want to stir the bull, really, as he wants to just kind of, because he knows how Minotaur get. He is one. He's really just more about, he doesn't want.
I don't want anything to happen here. I just want my money. Otherwise, it'll be a bloody mess. Very bloody.
As he kind of opens up the door again, he steps back through the door, and then he widens it again, and you see even more. Looks like 6 people out front, as well as him with his great axe, as he's like adjusts and puts the great axe over his shoulder.
Warl throws the gems on the ground. The 3 in front of them.
Yeah, I imagine you walk over to maybe to the desk or something, wherever this bag of gems are, and you kind of slide them towards his feet.
Take your money.
He picks them up, and he does so as his I guess the interaction changes to a more of a grateful as he goes.
Very good. Thank you. It's been wonderful as always. And I'll see you all next month. Xanathar thanks you.
As he backs away. And he leaves as well. As you've now lost the 3,000, but you're good for another month. And he leaves you with the orc. The orc and he, of course, exchange another nod as they both leave. Or as they all leave, except for the orc, who's now still with you.
I'm going to look at Wilgity and just disapprovingly and just mouth the word newsies at him.
Newsies?
Yeah. Newsies.
What do you mean? What's?
Oh, it's a play.
Oh,
So we can get. He's like Newsies is our way to getting our payment.
Newsies. That's how we fill the seats.
so I look over to Wilgity. Looks over to the orc, and asks him to. It essentially asks him to show us or introduce us to anybody that he knows. Because of the recent, everything that just unfolded and transpired. Wilgity also a little bit distraught over giving the 3,000 to the debt collector. Looks over at Warren, tells him, we could have kept that and used it for supplies or whatever. But Worrell is like, well, we need to keep the dance studio alive. So Wilgety again looks over to the York and kind of pleads with him, not pleads, but just tells him, okay, well, I would like to see what more you have to offer. And everybody starts coming out of the locker room, and Wilgety says, I'm so sorry, everybody, but we'll be back here next week to practice. And I don't know.
Worrell.
Essentially, Wilgety is really interested in what the
Right,
orc has
what the orc has to offer. Sure.
Yeah.
As they're on their way out, Worrell just like, remember, guys, get your lines down. Step ball change.
Yeah.
Wilgety's not even he's lost in his own head about what about the adventure. So at this point, Worrell is pretty much taking over the
which Worrell doesn't do because he doesn't dance, but he has hung out to know some of the buzzwords. So he's like, yeah, step ball change.
it's more about the business, though.
Right,
Keeping-
exactly. Yeah,
Flambe or whatever they
exactly.
Kick flambe.
Cool.
Wilgety's like pirouettes and stuff.
Cool. So yeah, they all leave. The orc goes,
I could probably introduce you to some people, but like I said, it's gonna be sort of the things that you've been doing, but it'll be constant work. Constant work. For a while.
Wilgety, at this, he perks up, and he always has his normal walking style or limp, but it has been over exaggerated up until this point. And then he walks over to the orc, very casually. Normally the orc doesn't pick up on it, but Worrell does, and sees that
this orc's name is Brutus, by the way. You know him.
Oh, Brutus. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so Wilgety walks over to Brutus, and at this point, Worrell sees Wilgety Man walking normal again and raises an eyebrow. So Wilgety, basically just confirms that he wants to go with him and go into town and meet these people.
All right, so it's gonna be really awkward because I kind of canceled what I had to do earlier, so I can make it, of course, on time to this. I don't want to miss out on the dance, But yeah, I'll see if I can make a couple contact. I'll see what I can do. I'll pull some strings. You want to meet me, dockside, 3 hours from now? How about that?
Sounds good.
All right. I'll wish me luck, because now I have to go back out there after I say. All right.
And he kind of just like awkwardly makes his way towards the locker room and then exits as he kind of is dreading the fact that he has to meet up with his friends, who may or may not be his friends, but very much probably his business partners in the shady ways of Skullport. So he leaves. And you guys are left alone inside the creaking old building of my left feet.
Worrell looks at Wilgety Man and just says, Wilgety, when I came to you moons ago, months, it's been a while, I did so at the behest of my god. For whatever reason, Sylvanus wants me to make sure this dance studio succeeds. But I will not be party to actions that would harm others. For no good reason. For no good reason. The harming others isn't the bad part, but definitely the no good reason part.
Wilgety looks at him and says, we don't know it's going to be anything bad. I mean, your God wanted you to come here to help support the dance studio. And by supporting the dance studio, you were also supporting me. So if you go against me, then you're going against your god.
Darn it, Will Giggity. I haven't seen the sun in months. It's always cold here.
He's not wrong. It never the sun never appears in Skullport. It is locked away in a deep, dark cavern. And yes, it is wet and cold.
He kind of sits down defeated just on the floor.
I
miss the sea. I'm here to help you, but I won't do anything I don't agree with, or that my god doesn't. So let's meet up with your orc pals, and let's see where it goes.
Okay. So around this time, you guys, I need you to all make a perception check. So the same skill that we did before. This time, you guys still do have disadvantage, thanks to.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Thanks to Snake Lord Snivy. Thank you, buddy. So you guys still have disadvantage. Is this a button? That's not a button. Is this a button? It will be. Okay. All right. So, Miggity Man with a 7. Perfect. And Swag with a 6. All right. So,
Isn't it the other way around?
you disadvantage. You take the lowest.
Oh, okay.
If it's nothing, we would take the first one. If you have advantage, you'd take the highest. If it's disadvantage, you take the lowest. Usually in D&D, you roll a d20, but in 5th, you have advantage or disadvantage sometimes. So it just, in roll 20, will always give you the option, and then you just have to figure it out. So being the lowest, 6 and a 7. The 7, Miggity Man, you hear a crash out front. It sounds like something heavy fell off of a cart. And then you hear a goblin woman scream as she says,
It's moving! It's moving! It's alive! Ah!
and that's coming from right outside the front of your quote-unquote estate.
Okay. So Wilgety pirouettes over to the door, just with as if to skip just to see what's going on out the
And
door.
stumbles
And
and catches yourself right on the
Right.
doorknob because you can't land him anymore. So the
Worrell in the corner on the floor, just kind of looking at him, with the raised eyebrow, like he was starting to understand that Wilgety might have lied about his injury. And then so Wilgety walks out to see what the crash was.
Sure.
I didn't hear it. I was humming Newsies in my head.
Yeah. So yeah, as you're humming Newsies and you're trying to go over, you're trying to figure out what the hell sheet music. You're trying to read sheet music, but you don't know how. So you're just like,
seize the day.
so the
And now it's time to seize the day.
and you see though the corner of your eye the pirouette of Wilgety as he is taken by the dance just for a moment again as he tries to do a pirouette, falls, and then looks out the window so longingly as you notice Wilgety. What looks like an old footlocker full of armor has burst open. The hinges blown off, and the crash was a cart tipping over. The armor inside the footlocker looks like it is now standing tall, like it has been animated on its own, and it's in its gauntleted hand. The gauntlets look and point, or I guess where the head would be, looks and with the gauntlet points at the female goblin as it picks her up by the collar and very threateningly. If you'd like, we can go into initiatives. So, in initiative, we're going to be rolling the initiative, or we're going to be going into combat. Initiative is, of course, that middle button on your character sheet. Give that a click, and then we will figure out where and how everybody goes in the order that we start this. I'm still figuring out production, so give me a second, Chad.
Got it.
Okay.
This makes sense. I didn't
This
hear anything.
makes sense, right? Okay. So let's go ahead and get that initiative rolled. We have an 8 from Swag. We have a 16 from Miggity Man. I'm going to roll initiative as well.
Round 1, fight.
Round 1.
Fight. How do I do this? Like that? Oh, sweet. I rolled a 1. All right, sweet. So Miggity Man, you see the scenario I mentioned. We have the animated armor holding up some sort of female goblin, and it looks like it is about to attack. But you go first. So you have 6 seconds in your action, or in a round, to do anything. You have 6 seconds. You could do a movement action, or you can do, as well as an attack action. You could cast spells. You can do skills. You also can double your movement instead. So what would you just like to do right now as combat starts, and I can tell you what you'd have to roll.
What is it? The breakdance move. Where let's see if I can remember the name of it. Where they drop to their feet and oh my gosh, I gotta remember the name of it. Like they do, like it's almost like a backspin where they drop to their feet. They swing their leg up underneath them, and then I wish I knew the name of it. Where
coffee grinder.
There you go. All right, so he does a coffee grinder in order to try to trip.
All right, so you're going to move up to him. So you're going to spend your movement. You can move up to 30 feet, so it's within 30 feet. So you could, I guess, Worrell, you see Miggity do a failed pirouette, looks out the window longingly with his toe pointed ever so perfectly. And then you see he opens up the door in some sort of rushed action as he sprints outside. Okay, so now you've moved it there, and now you want to do the coffee grinder. So you want to trip it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's do. You're probably gonna need an acrobatics check.
With complete disregard for the woman that's currently.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. Let's take a look at your character sheet, see what we can do. I'm trying to figure out how trip works. Let's just do your acrobatics versus if it's athletics. So I'm gonna try to. You're gonna roll, and I'm gonna roll. You want to get higher than I do. You have one more disadvantage here. You also have advantage, so let's give you advantage this round just so we can clear that. And then I will go ahead and I will roll my athletics. So same place on the character sheet. You have those skills. There's gonna be one called acrobatics. Give that one a click. I have.
Ooh.
Is that a thing? Did I do that right? No, that's 2 dice. All right, so I rolled a 7. And you rolled a 19. Hell yeah. All right, so with my 7 and your 19, you go up to it, you crouch behind it, and then you start kicking your leg out in like a circular pattern, and then you hop, of course, every once in a while, doing a perfect coffee grinder, but in that you're able to knock the footing, or maybe even knock some of the boots, or what are they called, the greaves of this plated armor. I guess maybe so it's not sync with the rest of whatever this figure is. So it does topple. For the next round, it's going to be a pile of armor as you topple it you topple it all together. So awesome. So the thing falls to the ground. The lady also falls to the ground, taking a bump to the head. And then now it is Worrell, your turn, buddy.
I've noticed the issue, but I obviously not exactly sure what's going on. So I'd like to sprint to the window.
Sure. So as sprinting to the window, you see what I just described. Wilgety Man runs up, crouches behind what looks like to be some sort of large figure. You can't seem to make a body out, but you do see armor. And he does this coffee grinder type move, tripping up this figure. This figure does clatter into a bunch of armor as a result. So now you're at the window.
I see the young woman fall, the goblin.
Mm-hmm.
So I shout out, "Don't worry, ugly lady.
Perfect.
I'll help you." And I channel my I channel my strength to send a shield of faith to guard her.
Okay. All right. So Shield of Faith, you've already clicked. What does it do? It gives her +2 AC for the duration. Okay. It's concentration, so up to 10 minutes. So next round, we're going to have to, we'll see if you can continue the concentration. But now she has +2 to her armor. AC, for those of you who are paying attention or have any questions of the game, is what I would need to roll to hit you. So, awesome. There we go. That's what I wanted. Okay, so now it is the lady's turn. The goblin kind of like, she gets up, she dusts herself off, and as she does so, she kind of like looks around frantically, not being a fighter. She runs and she just runs down the street. Looks like she's going towards some sort of, it looks like she's going towards the fort, it seems. Okay, and now it is the foe's turn. So now you guys witness the pile of armor that is at this cart. The wheels of this cart starts to, what you think was defeated for a moment, starts to resonate and hum as the armor starts to stack upon itself, each piece connecting with the one that would correspond with it, creating another figure. It could be the same figure or a new one, but nevertheless, it looks down, as it would be, or as the best it could, at you, Wilgety, and it goes to strike you. It goes to strike you with its gauntleted hand. You see this armor. It is a dark silver, or like an oily, pitch-polished metal with it looks like to be etches of some sort of dark purple inscription on it. It does glow very little bit. It could be the energy, of course, that is making it animate, or it could be something else. Nevertheless, it strikes you. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be rolling my dice versus your AC, Wilgety. So your armor class is on your sheet somewhere. It'll be said as it looks like a giant shield. I need to roll above that. So I rolled this +4, so I got a 14 to hit you. What is your armor class, Wilgety?
11.
Okay, so I do hit you. It's okay, because I actually get to swing again. For that's the 20, so I would hit you with that one as well. For 2d6 plus 2 damage. So that's 3 damage, 6 damage, as this pile of armor reanimates itself, and then it reanimates with its arm over its head, and it swings down, and as it does, it clocks you on the head for 6 damage. Now, your hit points are in the middle of your screen. You would just subtract that from 6 from that. If you hit 0, then we'll talk about death, but we're good right now. Okay, so now, it being the top of the order, a lot of the crowd nearby they don't panic, but they start to watch. It's not uncommon to see combat in the streets of Skullport, but some are very interested, and are starting to, it looks like some of the goblins are starting to make wagers and bets to one another on who will actually win. Is it going to be the dance coach, or is it going to be or is it going to be a horrible mutilation from this giant armor? Back to the top of the round, 𝐷𝐿𝐷𝐸, it is your turn. You just finished doing a coffee grinder maneuver as it took this beast down. So you have if you scroll down past your hit points, you have a rapier. Yes you do. You have a rapier as well as some other spells you can do too. Your rapier, I was imagining, because you said you had a cane last week, I was imagining it as just a cane sword. So you could just unsheath that from your cane and you could poke people like you would with a rapier. You have that as well. You have that magic vape. I don't know how well the magic vape will work on some sort of construct of armor, but you have that available. You do have spells as well. If you want to click on one of those and read up, you can, but you do have those to your availability.
Okay.
It's a cane sword rapier, exactly.
All right, so we'll go with the rapier or the cane.
Okay. So now what you would do here is you would just click on the rapier. So your character would unsheath the cane. There we go. With a 20, you hit. I don't know if that is not a critical, but you do hit. And I think you only have one attack. So now what you can do is you can click on the name again, and that'll deal damage. Or click on the... yep, there you go. So with that red text means you rolled a 1, but there's bonuses, so it's not a big deal. So 5 damage towards this. Cool. All right, so you want to narrate what you had done, how your turn went?
So after the coffee grinder and it reconstructed itself, it's tall, it towers. It's almost as if the pieces don't connect completely, making it even bigger than it actually is.
Mm-hmm.
𝐷𝐿𝐷𝐸 takes his rapier out and tries to stab the center chest plate of this armor, seeing that maybe, in his mind it's not completely connected. So if he pushed the chest plate out of placement of all the other pieces that don't exactly fit together, it's almost
right.
like it's being held together with.
Yeah, you did do something like that before with the when you knocked away one of the greaves, the whole thing fell apart. So
correct.
I guess in 𝐷𝐿𝐷𝐸's mind, if you were to thrust the point of your cane sword hard enough towards the chest piece, it would knock it out of alignment, thus doing the same thing.
Correct.
Okay, cool. All right, so with a push of or a thrust. Almost perfect. It can't be perfect. It used to be, but almost perfect thrust using the fencing style of dance that 𝐷𝐿𝐷𝐸 uses. Pushes hard enough that the sword tip of his cane sword starts to bend, but doesn't find purchase in pushing the cuirass away from the full suit of armor. But in that, you are able to move it in a way that it does kind of stir its defenses and shake, I guess, the emanating energy that keeps it afloat. So dealing 5 damage to this creature. Nice. Cool. All right, and up next we have Worrell. You're up.
Worrell hasn't liked anything he's been seeing.
Yeah.
This is all against him. So he's gonna channel his might into his flail. His anchor. Hold on.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I do this in the correct order.
You also have advantage as well.
All right, I'm gonna jump out this window.
Okay.
And rush at this creature.
Absolutely. Okay, so you jump out the window easy. I mean, you're big enough. This window has probably already been broken before.
Yep.
So yeah, you hop this slight hurdle, which is the window, and yeah, you can make it over there. Absolutely.
I sprint right towards him, and I brandish my flail, casting upon it a branding smite. I look unto the armor and I say, "Armor is meant to be worn, not wander." And I beat the heck out of it
Yeah. All right.
with my flail.
Nice. So go ahead and roll with advantage.
All right, which means I click.
You're gonna click
What?
you're gonna click your flail in the. This is where this is taking place, guys. It's gonna be the flail. Yep. So with a 24, you automatically hit, which is great. I think you have 2 attacks. Being a paladin at 6, so you can go ahead and roll again. Those both hit. Well done. Now click inside the chat bot the flail text. There you go. And then do that again. Cool. So you want to explain to me how the rest of your turn goes as you
So I'm swinging
successfully
this.
hit twice. Yeah.
I'm swinging this thing like crazy. And a single blow glances across the chest of the armor, doing a heavy hit.
Okay.
The second one also lands heartily upon it. But then comes the might of the paladin, which is the branding smite.
Nice.
Does an additional 6 damage.
Oh wow. All right. So you did 24 damage. Wow. All right. So what does the branding smite look like for you? Like what is Worrell's what's the narrative flavor of what it looks like when he does it?
On his hip why am I doing the voice? On his hip lies the he says it out loud actually. That's kind of guy.
On his hip, he pulls forward.
on upon my hip, creature.
Exactly.
If you can see properly, lies my compass. The needle starts spinning rapidly.
Sure.
As a kind of like a pale yellow glows around it.
Okay.
And my anchor surges with the power of Sylvanas, glowing this mustard, this Dijon color.
All right.
And as it slashes across the creature,
The compass or the flail?
the flail,
Okay.
the compass wouldn't be as it slashes across the creature, I let out a mighty roar. And then, and it
Yep. Nailed it.
and it blasted with the full might of my god. But
Cool.
if you think I'm done, I'm not. Because
All
I'm
right.
a minotaur, and a minotaur, as you know, has horns.
He does.
And after this, I'm so riled up, I'm also going to use my hammering
Right,
horn.
you do have an extra. Yeah, you do have an extra attack with your horns. I think I think I'm gonna have to get rid of 6 damage, because you could either do a 2 flail swipes or 1 horn and whatever. So I'm gonna get rid of one of your flail attacks for the narrative of your horns. Go on.
Yeah, get rid of 1 flailing.
Yeah. So we'll do 10, 6, so it's still 16. But yeah, and then we'll do your horn damage. So yeah, you charge in. You flail with your flail. You use the divine energy from your compass to infuse some radiant energy into your Dijon energy going onto your flail, as you now are inspired to then use the horns that your god had given you. So yeah,
I have nothing to click with my horns.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Go to your character. Sorry, immersion. Go to your character sheet at the bottom. Click hammering horns in the descriptions. Here, I'll do it. Just so we can see what it. No, never mind. The speech bubble. Immediately after you hit a creature with a melee attack, as a part of the attack action in your turn, you could attempt to shove the creature with your horns using your reaction. The creature must be no more than 1 size larger than you, which he is, and must make a strength saving throw versus a DC equal to 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your strength. Now, Proficiency, if the top of your character sheet, right next to your stats, there's proficiency bonus is 3. Your strength is also 3, so we're going to be, so 8 plus that is 14. I need to do a strength check, or I'm sorry, a strength saving throw versus a 14 DC. So I need to roll a D20 plus 2 and hope I get above that, a 14. Yeah, which it does. So, you run in, and Wilgity, you see your friend Worrell charges in, swings at the armor, clangs off the armor, and then you see a humming. The compass on his side starts to hum and spin, and as he does that, he kind of he roars a bit, and his horns then almost act freely as if instinct. He flails. Much like you would see like a dog with their favorite chew toy. Through instinct, they have to try to rip and tear. Through his instinct, he tries to gore the enemy after he successfully succeeds. His excitement, the testosterone, the instinct takes over, and he starts to gore and with these hammering horns, and does another. Doesn't. Excuse me. But he tries to push the creature, and the creature stays strong. So just clanging off of the armor, the horns do. As now it is the NPCs, the village folks' turn, and they're going to do nothing besides just chatter a bit. Some of them are going to start to make their way out because they see this they may be losing some money off of the bets that are being made. And it is now you see the armor turns and looks at you, Worrell.
Ha!
And tries to pick you up and throw you. And now as he does... Yeah. So I'm going to be doing a strength check, and you're going to be trying to do a strength check as well. I would also take either acrobatics or athletics. It's absolutely up to you, but I'm just going to try to grab you.
I'll do athletics. Jesus.
That's not what I meant to roll. That's two.
Oh,
that's
thank
two
God.
die. Yeah, sorry. Oh, I rolled a natural 20, so if you roll a natural 20, you can stop, but close.
Nope.
Though. Very close. All right, so the natural 20, he picks you up. Your horns brush off of his shoulder and the chest plate, and he grabs these gauntlets just out of nowhere, like lightning reflexes, grab your horns and start to lift you, almost in a very unnatural way. As like anatomy and how like logic and science works, by picking up somebody, there needs to be some sort of counterweight to lift something so heavy. But you see there's no counterweight here as he doesn't adjust his body. He's still standing straight up, but just lifts you up as if he's like curling and just lifts you up off the ground. Only for a moment as he then goes to try to throw you. You can do another reflex as you try to escape his grip. Otherwise, I'm going to try to do some damage here.
Is it? All right, well.
I rolled a 14 to give you a toss.
Is it athletics I'm looking at?
Athletics or acrobatics. It's up to you if you want to, depending on the narrative, how you want. Do you want to squeeze out of there, or do you want to like try to fight his grip?
I tried my athletics. It didn't work.
Okay.
So at this point, I'm gonna try. kind of like a instinct.
Yeah.
I remember the dance teachings
Right.
from Wilgity. Wilgity, don't abandon me. Oh,
14. All right. So in this case, I always give tie to the player. So go ahead and tell me how you escaped his grip as he tries to throw you.
I'm looking in, and I remember our training for the Newsies.
Mm-hmm.
I remember a certain move in which you thrust your chest forward and then do a spin, and using that, I angle my way out of his grasp into a flip, and then land to applause from the crowd.
Okay. Yeah. So
At which I take a moment to say, "Come see the Newsies live next week."
Awesome. As he's still never missing a beat to try to advertise for their company. Worrell does a tumble through the air, what he thinks is a flip, and then lands and gets up from the mud and says, Come see Newsies. As in his mind, he expected something to be way cooler, but he was able to pull that off. So nice, well done. Top of the round, Wilgity, you're up, buddy.
Can he still perform dance moves?
The suit of armor?
Yes.
The suit of armor cannot.
Or no, Wilgity against.
Oh, yeah. You could do whatever you want. Yeah.
Okay, so at this point, he wants to. The armor is kind of stunned or whatever. Its arms are kind of outward.
Uh-huh.
So Wilgity takes a swing type move, as if to take the hand of the armor, and then pulls him in close to Tango, and then spins him around, hoping to disorientate and maybe potentially throw him into the wall of the
cool
of my 2 left feet.
All right, sweet. So attempting to. Okay, so how do we want to do this? I guess it'd be a performance. So go ahead and attempting to try to tango with this cumbersome giantesque armor. Wilgity grabs and tries to take the lead. Do a performance check. It's going to be in your character sheet again. Nice, with an 18. Hell yeah. All right, so you successfully are able to do that. You're going to try to disorient the creature. Let's see if it... I don't know if it has anything. I'm going to try to make a wisdom save to see if... would it be wisdom? Intelligence? I think it's probably constitution because he's being spun. So, with a 15, yeah. So he spins, and he spins maybe once or twice, and then he's able to kind of regain his footing and then look back at you. He was not able to hit the wall, though, but he did spin. It was, for a moment there, it was a beautiful, beautiful tango, but at least on Wilgity's side, as the armor almost clangs into the side of the wall. It almost actually runs into a group of goblins that disperse, and one of it looks like as they disperse, there's an old Duragar behind them. And a Duragar, if you don't know, is a dark dwarf, like an evil race of dwarf, or has become evil over time, but not uncommon in Skullport. And him being probably an armorsmith in his ancestry, shouts,
"You have to destroy it! That's the only way!"
As he tries, he's almost like cheering towards you guys.
That's the only way you'll be able to take care of it!
And now, with that, it is Worrell's turn.
A fine show, Wilgity.
Exactly.
Once again showing why everyone here in the crowd should sign up at my left feet. Give yourself a second chance. Anyway,
everybody's like, "Oh yeah,
oh crap, he's right. I guess I should probably do that. My wife has always been saying I should probably check out my left feet. I think I'll do that.
You're right, Roger.
As all these guys and these little things start talking to each other and. Cool. So, what do you want to do on your turn? This thing is kind of like facing a wall right now. It's turning around to strike Wilgity.
I point at the creature and I say, the dumb dwarf is right. I must destroy it. And I charge at it once again with my flail.
Okay. Awesome. So you can go ahead and you can make your one attack, and then as a bonus attack, you could do your horn stuff.
This one's gonna be a bit different.
Okay, sweet. So tell me about it.
So we're gonna swing again with our 2 flails.
Cool.
So I'll do that right now. But then we're gonna also cast a divine smite.
Okay. A divine smite may be an action unless it goes on top of another action. Hold on, let me see.
When you hit a creature with a melee attack.
Oh, perfect.
Then there.
Okay, cool. So yeah, make your melee attack, and let's take a look at your divine smite. 13. You have no more advantage. That does not hit.
Hopefully the second one does.
Hopefully, as it clangs off of the armor, the second one doesn't as well. You swipe one, I guess an overhand strike, and you clang off the armor, and then you clang it off again with the second swipe with like a backhand with the flail. but the armor doesn't seem to flinch. The figure underneath doesn't shake or rattle, or the armor doesn't shake or rattle like it has been before, as it is unaffected by your literal flailing flails.
Wild takes a second to try to save face and say, "Killing you now would have been too easy."
Exactly. The crowd murmurs again. More of a crowd shows up around the outside of this scrum between what looks like to be some sort of animate armor, as well as these dance studio owners. Through the crowd, though, you do see that same the Brutus has made his way back, and 2, you also see Grug, the Minotaur that was here moments ago collecting debts, has made his way back. This seems to have gathered the attention of Grug, as well as maybe Brutus is back to meet up with you, or it also gathered his attention. But this thing turns and goes to swipe again at you, 𝐸𝐵𝐺𝐸. It doesn't have many cool attacks. I'm like, let's do something cool, but there isn't much. All right, so this thing is going to swing at you with one claw or one gauntlet, and punch you with another gauntlet as well. With a total of, I'm just rolling both of these for now, 2 plus. That's a 6 and a 21. So the 21 is going to hit you, I assume, yes?
That is which number again?
AC. Your armor class. AC. So it's going to be 11, I think.
11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm going to deal 7 damage as he misses with one swing, and then and over the head, like he missed with his left, but a more focused punch comes with the right as it hits you square in the face for 7 damage, leaving you with what looks like to be, or your eyes start to well and your nose starts to bleed. Could be broken. Hard saying at this moment. You barely felt it, though, because of probably of all the adrenaline. And that brings us to the top of the round. 𝐸𝐵𝐺𝐸, it is your turn. How do you react to a possible broken nose?
So 𝐸𝐵𝐺𝐸 has had his nose broken before. He pops it back into place with a loud crunch.
Yeah?
He thinks back to what one of the spectators said about needing to destroy it or whatever. He tries to think, he's thinking to himself, what can I do outside of the box in order to take down this
And that's the best thing about D&D is like, yeah, you can do actions that are on your sheet, or you can think outside the box and use whatever's around you. Go ahead.
So he, in his mind, he's thinking, I got to think outside the box in order to defeat this beast. And at that point, he looks at the box that had broken, that the beast came from, thinking maybe there's some kind of magic that was holding it in or something to that nature. The box being broken, there's pieces. So he takes one of the planks from the box and tries to use it to fight, to hit this.
Okay.
This thing.
Kind of like an improvised weapon. You grab like the lid to use.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right.
Correct.
All right. So this will probably be the same stats as a club. I'm pretty sure a club is a D6. I'll double check here in a second. So yeah, go ahead and roll. It's going to be, I don't know if you're proficient in improvised weapons. So it's going to be a D20 plus your strength. Your strength is +1. Let me see. You've got, yeah, you have simple weapons. Well, I said it's going to be count as a club, so let's go ahead and do that. It's going to be a d20 plus 4, because your proficiency bonus is 3 at the top, because you're proficient in it. And then a plus 1, because it's your strength. So it's going to be a d20 plus 4 to hit.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll that. You can go to the left-hand side of the roll 20, and you can see there's a d20 in the tool set, and you could click the d20 and then it'll roll one, or you could in the chat do /roll space 1 d20.
Where is it on the sheet?
It's going to be on the if it's not going to be on the sheet, it's going to be on the map. There's like a toolbar on the left side. If you just move the window of your character sheet, there should be a toolbar on the left side. If you click the D20, there will be a go ahead and click just the D20 and not the 2 or the 3 or the 5, but just the D20.
Okay.
And it should roll. There we go. So for a 7, you have disadvantage, so roll again. Okay, with a 4. So now your disadvantages are clear because of chat being awesome and playing along. Your disadvantages are clear, but you fail to hit. Maybe you took too long. You try to grab the you grab the lid of this footlocker that once contained the armor, and you go to swing it. And as you do, you kind of lose grip of it, and it falls out of your hands onto the ground at your feet as you kind of whiff with nothing in your hand. As you think this thing cocks its head almost in amusement as it sees you kind of fumble there for a sec. It is now Warl's turn.
I see Will Giggity's failed attempt. And I briefly mentioned to the crowd, this is not indicative of how classes normally are. At which point I charge this creature with my flail once more, screaming, tonight you die, or
cool
something.
Or something.
Or something.
Cool. All right. So go ahead and roll me your attacks.
22 and an 18.
Those both hit.
Fantastic. My first flail swing goes for the legs, trying to aim for the armor down there, and I get a mighty hit. The clang, rings out, and everyone around is almost like covering their ears. It's so damn loud.
So describe to me how you destroy the armor.
Well, the first swing crashes into that. My anchor crashes into it, shattering the lower limb of the creature, and then it kind of embeds itself into the second part of the leg armor. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Goes right through the right leg. At that point, I pull it forward. It's lost a leg. It's stumbling, and I raise my flail once more, start swinging it, and aim straight for the center mass with my second blow.
Cool.
I swing with a mighty. Newsies! And
Awesome. So as you take the armor down, your last hit though, your last strike, whether you hit it once and the thing gets thrown off balance, this one final hit rattles the energies or whatever it is that's coalesced this thing into life. The magic within, the weave, if you will, becomes torn from inside, and the armor starts to fall weak as it can't really stay on this arcane frame that it is being mounted upon, as you've knocked whatever it is underneath loose, whatever the magic may be. The thing rattles and starts to step backwards in this amazement, in defeat. And in your last strike, Wilgity, you also notice this, the compass once again hums to life, and the hands on the compass spins erratically and even rattles inside on its magnetic pin, as it glows once again with the light of your god, Warl. And your last strike, the barbs on your flail, or in this case, the anchor, seems to glow a divine white. A white hot heat sears a rippling scar and a tear right down the center of the faceplate and then the cuirass of this armor. The armor then kind of steps back. The runes, the purple runes that were on it, start to fade as it collapses into a pile of what it once was, armor fit for a giant.
At this point, Warl quickly looks at Wilgity. He says, that goblin lady, we must find her. This is the first time Sylvanas has reacted like this in years.
Right. Yeah.
This is important.
Okay. How does Miggity? How do you respond? How do you respond as you see this? I don't know. This divine smite take out white hot metal.
Wilgity is he's still distraught over his miss, but happy for the fact that Worrell was able to take down this beast, and he wants Worrell to be on his side when it comes to doing things against what he thinks is going to be against his god. So he supports Worrell's want to find the woman to figure out what it is that is making his compass go crazy.
Cool. All right. So you head towards the fort, right? Is that where you're going? Where that lady ran off to, the goblin?
Yeah, we shake hands with the crowd.
Right. Yeah, and there are many people who come up and thank you for what you've done, for helping. The lady does come back. She does make her way to you and thanks you as well.
Thank you very much. That was something I never wanted. I never wanted to. I simply wanted to pawn it off, but it came to life, and it wasn't something I needed to have. Are you okay? Is everyone all right?
And she kind of passes like these bottles to you, small vials of what looked to be some sort of red liquid.
I have a couple of these. At least I can do.
Potions, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I must ask, young hideous woman.
Goblin.
God, yeah. Well, potato, huh?
Well, okay.
This armor. Where did you find it?
And it's at that moment where Groog steps in, the giant of a minotaur, broken horns, and his buddy Brutus, and they go,
That was my armor. Was fit for me.
It was fit for a demon, because armor's not supposed to work like that.
Yes, well, that was not yours to destroy.
and then the goblin woman kind of backs away slowly. The minotaur snorts. Down here in this cold, dank area, there is enough of the body heat of a bull and or minotaur is hot enough for the steam to just come out with the snort as well. And he turns, and he walks away in a very threatening manner. And the orc Brutus approaches, and he goes,
You boys, he was the guy I was going to introduce you to. That's Groog.
We don't have the best rapport. Wilgity and It might be best for you to take point on this. I feel like
Wilgety
Random.
offers up services to help regain. Oh my gosh, let's see. So the Minotaur that walks away, he's not happy, but he's not necessarily ready to fight about it, I guess.
Yeah. Seems like
So Wilgety tells the orc that there's to try to maybe see if we can reason with him, and in order to replace the destroyed armor, which the armor is still intact in a sense that it can be used. It's just there's no magic behind it.
Yeah, there's no magic, and there's also a huge gash across the front. I mean, it's been like red hot metal has just kind of seared through the whole front and a chunk of the helmet.
Oops.
My bad.
Yeah.
Rip. So Wilgety suggests to the orc Brutus. It's Brutus, right?
Yeah, I've been in your
Okay.
class for 3 months now. I think I've been improving quite a bit, but yeah, Brutus.
Brutus, you have very much have been improving with your persuasion over the Minotaur. What was the Minotaur's name again?
Grug.
Grug.
Mhm.
Maybe there can be a common ground that we could achieve. Maybe he, in order to regain his trust or to fix what we have broken, maybe he has a quest for us, or maybe he would like to.
A quest.
He kind of laughs.
What are you? A quest? All right. Well, yeah. All right. Well, I'll see what I.
Every man has a price. Every man has something that they want. So what we need to do is find out what he wants to.
Now you're thinking like one of us.
There you go. So
Mhm.
to try to rectify this situation, and we didn't know it was his. It wasn't a personal attack on him. So there's got to be something that we can do to resolve this.
Myth
Alright.
at this time, is there any way Warl could look for the dwarf?
Yeah,
Who?
yeah. That
The
Duragar,
armorsmith?
yeah.
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 I'd like to go look for him while that conversation.
Sure, yeah. The orc Brutus mentions that he'll try his best. Just to wrap up that conversation, yeah, he'll try his best to talk with him, see what there is to do, but maybe it's best to swing by, maybe tomorrow. And when he says swing by, he doesn't tell you where, but he expects for you to know. And he turns, or actually, he lifts up his hand, his gloved hand, and he pulls off the glove, and a tattoo that you've noticed before, but you've never really paid any mind to it. It is a circle on his palm, and then these lines, these stalks that go to the middle part of his finger, the middle tarsal, I guess, whatever that one is. And it has another what looks like to be a circle, and that goes to each of his hands, or each of his fingers, excuse me. And he kind of shows it to you, and then he gives you a handshake with that tattooed hand, and he expects you to meet him
Somewhere.
at somewhere at the Xanathar meeting place, whatever that may be. You know Xanathar, the Thieves Guild, their icon is a beholder being an orb of flesh with an eye in the center, and these eye stalks that all have different powers. Back in the day, the Xanathar was a beholder, but over time there is still a Xanathar, but no one really knows if it is the beholder or if it is somebody else. But nevertheless, the icon and the imagery for Xanathar is a beholder. So with this crude tattoo of a beholder on his hand, he shakes your hand in more of a less of a best friend, mentor, apprentice, but more of a brotherhood acceptance. As he kind of shrugs and starts to take pieces of the armor back Actually, he doesn't. He shrugs, and then he makes his way into the crowd towards towards an alleyway. And then, so Worrell, you make your way towards the dwarf. The Aduragar, his dark gray skin, white glossy eyes, very sensitive to light. They see in the dark with ease, but with their glossed over eyes, they can see pretty well in the depths of caverns and such. His beard is shock white, and he has a bald head, and he goes,
Yeah? What?
Worrell, with the best intentions and the stalwart charisma of a minotaur, almost like I guess like he doesn't know any better. He says, "Small dark child,
"Oh God."
you knew of the armor's power."
I didn't know of the armor's power. I simply just know how to destroy armor that gets acting up.
As he holds his blacksmithing axe or blacksmithing hammer.
Worrell kind of looks a bit worried, looking at his own armor. A little bit shaken. He says, "Listen, tiny man,
Dwarf.
dwarf, Duragar. Listen, do you have a name?"
I do. Let me hold on here while I look through my notes here and find it. I do have
He's
a name.
old. He's old, I get it.
He looks at his
pulls that ID.
yeah, right, exactly. He looks at his hands as if he has it written down on his forearm somewhere.
The name is
Hold, please. He may not even have a name, which sucks because I was.
Nope. The name is Olgin.
Organ?
Olgin.
Olgan.
Hmm?
Olgan. Olgan. Good name. Good
Thanks.
name. Olgan.
Yep.
Hello, I'm Worrell Keathers.
Yeah. New to see you.
Yeah, you probably heard of my exploits. I once helped a fishing boat.
Yeah. What is it? I don't have time. I gotta get back and.
Can you fix this armor? Listen, I've
Which
I've made a
that
mistake.
armor there?
the armor that I.
He points to the pile of armor scraps.
Yup.
I don't think I can. No, that's not. That's not simple. I could fix the armor, but I can't make it do what it did or whatever. I mean, it's not people.
Oh no, that's fine. Just something that's somewhat wearable. You see, I've made an enemy because I've destroyed it.
Right. I see what I could do. I'll see what I could do. It's not going to cost you though.
We have nothing but money.
All
He
right.
says.
All right. When do you need it by?
As he starts
Tomorrow.
He starts to look tomorrow. Okay, he goes, well, I would probably do this for about 180 if you give me more time, but since you need it done now, I'm going to have to probably go ahead and charge you closer to 500. Yeah, sorry. I've got other things. I got to clear my whole schedule and do this
Oh.
one.
180. All right.
180, and I'll get it to you when I get it to you.
Can I get like a writ, something in writing saying that you're working on it?
He spits on his palm and he looks at you with a handshake in mind.
All right, whatever. 180 deal.
And he clasps for a handshake.
There. I'll get it to you when I can.
And he starts to load the armor into the cart. And he starts to talk to the gobliness about where his where to drop off the armor. So yeah, and then you guys are left in the streets. And yeah. So what do you do here?
Well, I informed Will Giggity
Okay.
of the events. I'm getting fixed, but we're not going to be able to afford costumes for some of the men. They'll have to make their own.
So where we are is we need to meet
Yeah, tomorrow.
the orc tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
The Minotaur has left in a huff. The blacksmith is going to make us repair everything.
Repair the
for
armor.
100.
Yep.
And the 180 means it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Like-
He can't infuse the magic. He's not an enchanter, but he can repair. He thinks he can repair the armor for 180 gold.
But it's whenever he's
Whenever
ready,
he can
not
get to it.
necessarily tomorrow.
Yep.
I mean, I did my best. We just don't have the budget for 500 gold pieces.
I've looked at the books. I've gone over it in my head.
Maybe if we sold the piano, but then who does the score?
I love it.
So at this point, we're either faced with going back into my two left feet and devising some sort of plan in order to come up with the 180.
Yep.
Or we could go into town, and 𝐑𝐸ghty could potentially use some of his teachings from the goblins to lift a few purses, coin
Very
purses,
true.
in order to get the money together. And it could be somewhat of a journey into town to kind of clear each other's heads, Worrell and 𝐑𝐸ghty. And along the route, they go to a tavern to drink over what has transpired for the day, and 𝐑𝐸ghty is pretty much eyeballing everybody, every passerby and people in the bar to see who would be the best candidate, who potentially would carry the most coin on them in order to raise the funds for the armor.
All right. So there is what looks like to be. There are a couple traders in town that you can, merchants, if you will, blacksmiths, shoemakers, and the like, that you could probably lift some coin off of. There are some shadier-looking characters, maybe some washed-up pirates who are now made their stay in Skullport for ease of access to drink and also a place to spend their money while they are on quote-unquote shore leave. Though their boat is not in the harbor of Skullport, it is probably somewhere in the outskirts, and they've taken a ferry in. But there are some, yeah.
Is there a game of chance that we could stumble across people playing and roll for potentially, to get into that game to see if we could essentially win some of the money instead of...
There are some games of chance happening. There's a game called Knucklebones, which is very similar to Jacks, where you can really only picture that being actually the instruments that they use are of a human hand. Of course, illegal to play in probably anywhere else because of the nature of the game components are from a human hand. Desecration of a body is needed to play the game, but it is a game that they can play, that they are willing to play here on the streets somewhere, much like a game of craps, sort of in the back alley somewhere. And you've seen it numerous times, but maybe this time you want to try your hand at it. No pun intended.
Okay, so so kind of pulling back from the immersion, do you already have a pre-planned schedule of who we are going to fight, or could we fight anybody at any given time?
Anytime. I mean, I had some sort of gray outline of today's adventure, but anything can go anytime, anywhere, any way you like.
So
And it's my job to react.
Okay, so getting into this game that we see, we would go into a tavern and we each get a a couple of drinks, not
Sure.
even knowing how we're going to pay for the drinks because we don't even have the money for those. So we just kind of look around the bar. Wilgity had in mind that he was going to go in there with
It's
the.
like every time I go to a bar for me. But yeah.
It's
Are we broke? How much money do we have on us?
nothing.
Is it nothing? Is it nothing?
Yeah.
Did we not have anything? Because we had the 3,000, the 3 orbs.
Well, we must have some like petty cash.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
some petty cash you guys have. But
Okay,
yeah.
so I'll
But when it
just
comes
say
to
that
huge purchases, I mean, like, you know, you're not getting the expensive wine.
Okay,
Yeah.
so to make it interesting for Wilgity, he has 100 gold on him.
Okay.
I'm not sure how much Worrell would want to have on him.
He's got 100 gold. Let's just pay for the armor.
Do what?
Well, he doesn't have 500. He has
Oh, we're
800.
trying to get 5. Oh, we're
Yeah,
trying
there's
to get-
500 for the
For the
the
next
rush.
day,
yeah.
and 180 for whenever. But we need it tomorrow.
Captain Spog and Spice, do you guys have resubs? You can add advantage or disadvantage to any of the players. Absolutely up to you. Actually, I think it's a natural 1 or a natural 20. Up to you guys.
Well, I know Wilgity wants to gamble.
Mhm.
And I think that's more his speed.
Yeah.
I see these pirates, and I see them as an easy target for another type of game I like to play.
Okay.
It's called Who Can Remain Conscious After Drinking the Most.
Cool. All right. I like this. So
So,
we will probably end
I'll
up
let-
having a scene of like a game of knucklebones in the corner, but distracting the illegal game, or a quote unquote illegal, the unsightly game of knucklebones. There's a raging crowd in the other side of the bar, frantically drinking and trying to outdrink Worrell. I like it.
The Minotaur.
I like it. I like it. I like it. What's up, Indy? Yeah. So let's go ahead and for one, let's start off with a regular old roll of a d20. Miggity man. I said Miggity man for just because this is luck. It's a game of luck, and I'll let you know how you do. How much are you betting? First of all.
20.
20. Okay. Go ahead and roll me a d20. And Worrell, you're on the other side, rousing a crowd of washed-up pirates, landlubbers, and also many a criminal or former criminal, trying to rile them up to maybe bet that you can drink more. Of course, there's a line of dwarves who are waiting, and the Duragar as well, who are waiting to prove you wrong. Some of them have various tattoos on their body depicting different eyeballs and eye stalks of sorts, but you don't mind because it's just a commonplace thing. As they slide up to the bar, and they come over, and to sign up, they cheers you with a tanker full of ale, and then they pound it with you, and they all do that, and they wait as in the corner we're rolling Knucklebones, the illegal game of Skullport. So go ahead and roll that d20. Did you? You did with a 4. Nice. So unfortunately, with a 4, you roll the Knucklebones, and the markings indicate something that you can't decipher. But the goblin that's there goes, nah, none, poor luck, and he grabs all of them, grabs the bones again, and grabs the pot, and he goes, I want to go again, and he starts to rattle the bones in his hands.
And Wilgity says double or nothing.
Double or nothing. Very well. I can do that. Can you do that?
And he goes towards and he talks to the gnome.
I can do that. Yes, I mean as well.
And then
Yes, perfect. Perfect. Yes. All right. Here we go.
and then he rolls them again, and he goes, nah, and then he passes them towards you. It's your turn to roll. With a 7. Unfortunately, a 7 does not do it. He goes,
All right. Well, maybe it's not your day.
and he goes ahead and grabs the 60 gold. Well, that would be 40, so in total of 60. So you're
40,
down,
60.
you have 40 left, yep. Meanwhile, we have a dwarf in the corner who's like, all right, cheers, bud. And he clangs his the wooden mug towards yours. And let's go ahead and do, I guess, competing Constitution saves?
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense to me. Dwarf, let's give him a +1 because it makes sense. I rolled
Hey,
11.
anyone want to use that natty 20?
Yeah, you. Yeah, exactly.
Cough,
So-
cough, chat.
Exactly. So, chat, remember, you guys could always help these guys out as well. There are things you can do, exclamation point, play along, and you guys can help the channel grow and help out the game here by grabbing a natural 20 or a natural 1, or even advantage or disadvantage for any of the players. It's absolutely up to you. You can do exclamation point, play along, and see how to do that. So, with the 8, you both chug the beer as hard as you can, but the suds in your belly are acting up. They start to, they don't disagree with how fast you drank that beer. You start to burp, and you have to take a minute to just like belch and let it out. But you were able to drink it, but not all of it. About 3 gulps of them started to pour down your side, and a bunch of the other dwarves go, nope, they didn't go all in there. He wins. And then the 10 gold that you put down goes to the dwarf. And then another dwarf steps out, up in the queue or the line, and he holds up his mug. Ready to go? Bet you can't drink me.
I say that was a sudsy beer, poorly made. Where I come from.
Oh, now you're getting mad at Brunar. He's making fun of your poor. And then the Duragar at the tap kind of just goes,
What do you mean? Nobody can pour as bad as I can.
and he goes again and starts to pour one. He goes, here, and he slides one to you, foamier than the last.
Perfect. That's what I like to see. I say, why one? Why one mug? And I gesture over there. Give me 2. And let's double
And he
it.
slides another one over towards you. Go ahead and roll another Constitution save as you try to double fist 2 mugs as one dwarf tries to chug his. All right, so ready for a wonderful show, but makes complete sense as a natural 1 is rolled. You lift your hand up, very much like Stone Cold Steve Austin. You clang the mugs together. Beer goes everywhere, and then you pour the contents on your face. Some of it gets in your mouth, but it was more of a show than anything. You spit the rest that ended up in your mouth into the air. Everybody riles into the air and is excited and starts clapping, keeping the attention of the room still. More of a show. Yeah, it maybe cost $10 or 10 gold, but you're able to immersion. Excuse me. You're able to keep the attention of the room as in the back corner. We've got 3 goblins and an elf playing Knucklebones. Want to go ahead and roll one more time? Yeah, it's not going well. So it's Knucklebones. Wilgity, if you can roll that D20 again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how much are you betting this time?
Probably 20 again.
Probably 20. Okay. Let me roll a die. I think I'm gonna roll, and if you hit my number, that makes sense. Or a natural 20. Which did I? Natural 20s, chat. Okay, so you actually, he rolls all the knuckle bones.
Yeah, that right.
And one of the gnome next to him goes,
Yeah, okay, all right. I don't need to win this one. It's all right. There's a couple that you could always lose.
and then the goblin goes,
Right, well, all right. Those are yours. Lucky.
and 30 gold is given to you, Wilgity, as you're now up. I guess you're only down 10. No, you're down 30. Excuse me.
30. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is there a
More dwarves and more crowd comes in as they're starting to hear the commotion in the corner. The drinking, the rabble that's happening in the corner starts to grow, and the crowd starts to get larger and larger as well. But still, in the corner, a couple of empty seats and a game of Knucklebones is played.
I'm trying to think of a way. I want Wilgity.
Yeah, they keep doing that.
Wilgity wants to. Is gold the only form of currency at this point?
What is that? Is gold your only currency? You have up to 100 gold. If you want, you could go ask for change at the bar. Now, the way currency works, copper it equates to a penny, silver equates to a dime, and then gold equates to a dollar. And there are some other ones as well that are new, like Electorum and stuff, and I don't know. I bet someone in chat probably knows which ones are which. There are platinum pieces that count as a $10 bill, but when it comes to the breakdown, pennies are coppers, dimes are silver pieces, and gold are dollars.
So Wilgety tells the
Hand of the
gentleman
Queen
that-
coming in, giving an advantage for all. Thank you so much. Nice.
Nice.
Thank you. Thank you.
So Wilgety tells is it a goblin that's running this?
Yep, it's a goblin. It seems to be his knuckle bones. He's the one who keeps grabbing them.
Okay,
He's the one
so
who owns
Wilgety
the-
says
yeah,
that
so
he
it's
wants
his
to
game.
continue. But he's gonna get changed from the barkeep. Wilgety,
I'll be right back. Need to get change.
yeah, right. But Wilgety goes to the barkeep and tells him that he wants change for 20. The barkeep reaches into his stash to give Wilgety the change for the 20, but then Wilgety says, "Wait, no, let's not do that. Let me get
What, a
change."
platinum piece, 5 gold, and 500 copper?
Is it right here?
Essentially, so he tries a
The regular
sleight of
breakdown?
hand. Yeah, he tries a sleight of hand in order to get back the money that he had lost originally.
Okay.
By keeping the 20 and telling the barkeep, "Here, I'll take that back," after he's already gotten the change for it.
Right.
So at
Yeah.
that point,
Oh
he
wait,
does-
hold on. Yeah. Okay. He's doing one of those maneuvers. The old.
Yeah.
Wait, I
so-
gave you a 50. Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
So would I be able to? What would I need to?
Right. So this will be I believe it's deception is a skill that you should have.
Okay.
Let me double check. I'm of the D&D 3.5, which is a bunch of skills. So I know a bunch of skills, but I always forget which one's which. So you could do sleight of hand or you could do deception here. Both you have zeros in because of your lack of dexterity. But if you like, you can. Oh, I'm looking at World Cathers. Excuse me.
I have 3 and 3.
Yeah. All right. You're good. Yeah, because you're proficient in it. Yeah, absolutely. So you can go ahead and roll whichever one you like, stealth, or actually deception, or sleight of hand. I feel like sleight of hand just makes more sense here.
Okay. So I'll roll.
You have advantage. So if you want to use the advantage, which would be the 13. Okay. Yeah. Sweet. So with the 13, let's see if this guy notices. Gonna roll a die here. Actually, it would probably be deception. So let's pretend it was deception that you rolled. Same number, doesn't matter. But you're trying to convince him that you gave him different money, so he can give you more money. That would equate to that money.
Correct.
Okay.
He goes, no, you gave me 20 gold.
If it helps, Warl's yelling at the barkeep the entire time. More booze.
He goes, 1 second.
As he's still staring at Wilgety.
You gave me 20 pieces. I wasn't born yesterday.
No, I originally gave you a 22 breakdown, which I gave back to you.
You're right. It's right there.
And he kind of like points at it on the bar.
Okay, so where do we go from here?
You could keep prying him, or you could be like, all right, and then just go back with your breakdown of 1 platinum piece, 5 gold pieces, and 500 copper.
So he does continue to pry him and
Benefits for
says,
swag. Nice. Swag, you have a crit 20.
Perfect. I'm gonna need it.
Yep, you are.
So he tries to convince him. No, I've got the 20, or you have the 20. We're even at this point. And then he points to the barkeep's change purse or whatever his chest, hoping that the barkeep would look down on it, being able to giving Wilgety an opportunity to remove what is on the bar out of sight, so that the barkeep is even more confused after the fact.
Okay.
Not knowing, basically confusing him to question himself as to where the money actually is or went. But
Sure.
like a quick sleight of hand in order to steal the money.
Okay. So go ahead and roll a deception this time. So run it by me again. You're trying to steal the money off of the table and then ask him where it went?
Well, so the barkeep, he had already told Wilgety that the money is right there.
Yeah.
And then Wilgety points to the chest and says, "No, you put it there." When the barkeep looks over, that's
Gonna
when
swap
the
him.
sleight of
Okay.
exactly.
Cool. So yeah, go do sleight of hand again. This time being a 15. Nice. He does a double take. He looks at the thing. He hears something, maybe a swish of your sleeve or something rubbing against the bar. And he looks back and he sees there's nothing there. And he does a double take and goes, "Wait.
Where is it? It was right here. Did you take it?
No, you took it. You put it in the chest.
I put them back in there.
At this point, Warrels is more drinks, and he's like cheering, and there's a crowd of dwarves in the corner, screaming, and he's trying to maintain them. It could be this one bartender isn't used to seeing it so chaotic in here. Yeah, it's usually pretty much just a hole in the wall. But yeah, there's a bunch of people cheering in the corner, excited, and he's starting to get flustered. You could tell visually that he just can't quite.
And he goes, wait, I put it. No, you gave me the 20, all right, and I gave it to you, and I put it right here, and then I went back and I put it back in there. It's in here.
And he goes to look in the foot locker as he goes to start counting again.
When he goes to start counting, at this point, Wilgety has the money that he wanted. Correct.
So, right here. All right. So, all right. So, you know what? Here, take this.
And he gives you a handful of gold, and he goes, just I can't take your change, okay? And he thinks he gave you the 20, a stack of 20, but he gave you a stack of 30 gold pieces. And then he gets back and he runs back to the other side of the bar, where he starts to frantically start pouring the drinks for the dwarves who are cheering in the corner, trying to outdrink the Minotaur. With success.
Okay.
So now you're up. You're in total. You're down 20.
20.
You've gained another 10 through that transaction. Back over to the chugging corner of the. Just turning into a game of Fable, like Fable mini games, where it's like, oh, we're kneading the bread to make money. So we head over to the corner where a bunch of the dwarves. One gnome approaches you, and he's got this very serious face, and it's quite humorous because you've never seen a dwarf or a gnome ever try to challenge anybody in drinking. But he's kind of pushed forward by his dwarf friends as he very embarrassingly raises his mug, ready to cheers you to chug.
Warrel, he's had a bit to drink.
A crowd still gathering from the street, coming in and watching. It's been a hell of a day in Skullport with you two guys.
He looks upon the crowd and he says, "Enough of these games, huh? What are we, children drinking our mother's milk?" And he walks over to the bar and he grabs, like reaches over, like drunk people do sometimes. He grabs an entire barrel of the beer.
Okay.
And he picks it up. He puts it on the counter.
The crowd goes silent as they watch.
And he says, "Which one of you landlubbers? Which one of you landlubbers think they can outdrink a Minotaur? The entire barrel." He slaps it on the side.
All right.
I throw down the rest of my gold, however much, 80 gold.
Nice. So he, as you exclaim this challenge to the bar, a hulking figure walks in, a very familiar figure of the Minotaur of Groob, Grug, and he seems to have some sort of purpose in his step as he kicks the door open, and he says, he looks at both you and Wilgity, and he goes,
You. With me, now.
as his voice echoes,
We've got business to discuss.
and he pulls out an axe, and it shimmers just a bit. And that is where we're going to end tonight's episode of Ruins of the Mad Mage.
Ooh.
So, it's been a wonderful time. I had a lot of fun. Let me know how you guys liked it in the chat. Thank you guys for paying attention, paying heed to us. Thanks for stopping by, guys. Thank you everybody for the donations, the bits, the resubs. If you did resub today, we will still we'll keep that active for next week. Remember, you can always play along to help out the channel and help out to keep these shows going. Thank you guys. You are all wonderful people. Let's go ahead and go around and do some outros and yeah. So how did you guys like it? How did you like it, Miggity?
I love
first
it.
day
Yeah.
in D&D.
Yeah, it's good. I look forward to getting more comfortable with with these storylines and going forward with with these characters and seeing where we can take this.
Yeah. I was I really had. I think you did wonderful, and I had a great time playing with you. And I could tell there were some times that you were definitely getting very excited for what was going down. I was like, yeah, he likes it. Nice, which is
Yeah,
cool.
for sure.
So very excited for that. Why is my music not? Anyway, that's why. There we go. Okay, so awesome. So tell us about you, Miggity. What do you do here on the internet? Why should we follow you? Because we should.
Miggity Man. Like I said, I role play as mainly as a police officer on Family RP. It's a GTA 5 roleplay mod, 5M. It's not your typical GTA. A lot of people, associate GTA with either the main storyline or GTA Online, but it's not anything like that. Basically, you have 32 characters on a server, and you create stories just like we're doing here today. Just making up whatever you can imagine as a character. You can be anybody that you want, a criminal, a police officer, EMS, anything to that nature. And I mostly play as a cop who patrols the city and tries to keep order in a disorderly environment. I do have a couple of other characters, but mostly the secondary one is a criminal named Russell, who's an old man who pretty much he was originally designed to give cops something to do when it was slow, and he might it's not like he's cop baiting per se, which is against the rules. It's more like, when you get old and senile, you just want to walk around naked and steal all the time. So that's pretty much it. But he's never out to win. He just he's just a lovable old guy who just wants to have nice things at other people's expense. And occasionally he might steal a car or two, but usually when the cops catch him, he's dumb enough to admit to it and get put in jail. So yeah.
Awesome. Definitely go give him a follow. Check him out, guys. Awesome content creator, inspiring to say the least. We do not have Unmade Gaming or Cherry Bob Gaming this week. They will be with us next week. And then we'll have the full cast and crew next week. I'm super excited about that. And now, Swag, tell us about you. How did you like the game today's game? And where can we find you on this thing we call the internet?
I mean, I loved it to death. I'm really excited for next week. We got a drunk Warl Cathers.
Yep.
We got a down on his luck Miggity, or Will Giggity,
Will get
Willy.
Will.
And we're going straight into the den of the beast. So you know, I'm excited to see the exchanges we get together there. It was a lot of fun. I had a blast.
I'm glad you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah, you guys can find me any day except for Monday, Tuesday through Sunday on Twitch. Around 6 p.m. PST, I'll be streaming either survival horror, or very soon we're going to do a run through of Red Dead Redemption. So I'm excited for that.
Nice.
And I get drunk after the stream every night. So
After this
every
stream,
Saturday.
every night.
yeah, so yeah,
Yep.
every Saturday night I do get drunk. So I'm excited for that.
Nice.
So-
Yeah, it's exciting. Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much. Chat, thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being wonderful and giving us advantage and disadvantage. Thanks for resubbing. Thanks to everybody for all of your contributions. And the more we have that, the more games we can do, and the more fun we can have, and the more stories that can be told. So thank you, guys. Let's head on out. We're going to actually go ahead, and on the way out, we're going to go ahead and raid Unmade Gaming. If he's still live, he should be, because he's doing a 12-hour charity stream. Let's go give him some love.
Yay!
Yeah.